In this video, I'm going to be going over the top 5 best cards for 250,000 MT right now in NBA 2K23 My Team. These are going to be some of the best cards at their position in the game that you guys can pick up for under 250k, and cards that I think have really good value for their price tag. So starting off here with the first card I want to talk about is going to be the endgame Luka, who is consistently ending for around 200,000 MT or below, which is an amazing price tag for a top tier point guard in the game. Like, I think he's pretty much tied for the second best point guard, and I'll talk about that here more in a second. But Luka, 6'7" at the point guard position. He's got a 6'8" wingspan. We know he's going to be an endgame card, so maxed out stats, maxed out badges, and also maxed out defensive tendencies, all going to be at 100 for the pass interception, on ball steal, contest shot, and block shot. So really good defensive card in Luka, but mainly going to be there on offense. He's going to have that end game jump shot with the KPJ base, Sadiq Bey upper on very quick timing, all of the best dribble sigs, all of the best dunk packages. And I think Luka, for his price tag, is going to be an amazing value card. And then, like I said, tied for number 2 for the second best point guard in the game, I do think is going to be Jimmy Buckets. Him and Luka Doncic are damn near identical point guards. Like, when I mean identical, they're both 6'7", both 6'8" wingspan, both weigh 230 pounds, and they're going to be endgame cards. So of course, they're going to have 99 every single stat. They're going to have maxed out badges at 64, and they're all going to have the same animations and the same jump shot. So Luka and Jimmy, for both 250k or below, I think are going to be top 5 cards. Now for number 3, this card might be a little bit more expensive, or around that 250k price range, and that is going to be this endgame DRob. I've seen him consistently end for like 225 to 275, somewhere in that price range. But I would say if you look hard enough on the auction house and you keep trying to buy one, you can definitely find one for under 250k. And he's going to be a top tier power forward, 7'1" at the power forward position, 7'5" wingspan. And the one thing I will say about an endgame card with the lefty jump shot, I find it to be a lot more consistent of a release and a lot better of a jump shot compared to a righty release. So for example, endgame Shaq is another power forward that's pretty much on that DRob level. It might be a little bit better than DRob, but he shoots right-handed, where DRob shoots left-handed, and I think his jump shot is a little bit more consistent in game. And some people even think that DRob is better than Shaq because of his jump shot, and also does have an amazing player model. I think Shaq might be a little bit better than DRob, but DRob is going to be maybe like 100k cheaper, or at least 50 to 75k cheaper. So yeah, I think DRob might be the best card, or one of the best cards for under 250k, and I think definitely deserves to be in this top 5. And then at number 4, this is not ranked in order, but the fourth card I wanted to talk about is going to be endgame Paul George. He's around 250k, I would say like 200 to 250, somewhere in that price range, and he's going to be an amazing 6'9" shooting guard, 6'11" wingspan. And the really nice thing I like about Paul George is number 1, his player model. I think he's got a great player model in the game, really good for defense. Like, I feel like his defensive animations are top tier. He plays really good defense in game, and then also driving to the basket, I feel like he gets some of the best dunking animations in the game for a shooting guard. Like, I know Kevin Durant's really good, and KD's not going to be in this top 5 because I think KD goes for a little bit more than 250k. But if Kevin Durant were to be under 250,000 MT, then I think he'd probably replace Paul George's spot. But since the fact that Kevin Durant's going for a little bit more than 250k and Paul George is in that 250k price range, I do think he's going to be a top 5 card for 250,000 MT. So that's going to be the first 4, right? All going to be end games. We got Jimmy Butler, probably under 200k. We got Luka around 200,000 MT, maybe even a little bit lower. We got endgame DRob, who's about 225 to 275, and then we also got endgame Paul George, who's about like 200 to 250, somewhere in that price range. So those are the first 4 cards I wanted to talk about. But then when I was trying to find the 5th and final card, there were so many different names I was trying to think of, but I couldn't really find a card. So I'll just give you guys multiple different answers. Like, I was looking at Shaq, right? Shaq was more expensive than 250k, so couldn't put him in the top 5. Kevin Durant, I've seen him end consistently for more than 250k, so can't really put him in the top 5, right? Then I look at the rest of the end games. I mean, Tim Duncan's pretty good, and he's under 250k, so you can maybe consider Tim Duncan. He's a really good power forward. Same thing with Paulo Banchero. But I thought there was going to be some better cards out there, right? Dwayne Wade, I don't think he's going to be a top 5 card for 250k. There's also Kobe, but I think he ends for a little bit more, and there might be some better cards out there. MJ, he's about the same thing, and then LeBron's going to be a lot more expensive. So the only 4 end games, like I've said, that I wanted to include in this top 5 is DRob, Paul George, Luka, and Jimmy Butler. So now I was looking at the invincibles, right? I was like, Kristaps, he's one of the best invincibles, but he's like 350k plus. He's probably more like 400 to 450k. Then I thought, well, okay, Shaq might be cheap, right? But I've seen him end consistently for like 275 to 300,000 MT, so you could potentially include Shaq in this top 5, but I think he's going to be a little bit more expensive. And then like the last invincible I thought about was his invincible TMac, and I think that's probably the card I'm gonna go with, but he might be a little bit more than 250k. It really just depends when you're checking the auction though. So if he's gonna end for under 250k, then I think T-Mac's gonna round out the top 5. 6'8" at shooting guard. He's got a 7'2" wingspan. We know T-Mac still got that knockdown jump shot with the KPJ base and then the Oscar upper on very quick timing. Is probably my favorite, or one of my favorite jump shots in the game. I do think it's actually a little bit better than the end game jump shot, which is the KPJ base and the Sadiq Bey upper. So I actually do like T-Mac's jump shot more than the end game releases. But just in case T-Mac isn't under 250k, some other cards I wanted to throw out there are just going to be some really good Giants centers, and that's going to be Dark Matter Yao Ming, who's super cheap. I mean, he's only like 70 or 80k, but he's still going to be a top tier center card. And then also Victor Wembanyama, who's about 100,000 MT. Once again, I think T-Mac will be the way better card to put in this top 5, but just in case he's not under 250k, then I do think Victor Wembanyama or Yao Ming could be that 5th and final card. But just to go over the top 5 once again, not ranked in order, gonna be Jimmy Butler, gonna be Luka Doncic, gonna be DRob and Paul George, and then that 5th and final card for under 250k, I think is going to be the invincible T-Mac. But let me know in the comment section down below, first off, what do you guys think about my top 5, and let me know what you guys would change about. Is there any other cards for under 250k that you guys would include in this top 5 over any card I mention? And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.